Good morning. I think everything should be on and running.
Yes.
Alrighty. So we picking up 18 verse 17. So, but the first of the oxen, of the sheep, or of the goats, thou mayest not redeem, for they are sacred. But thou shalt sprinkle their blood upon the altar and burn their fat for an oblation to be accepted before Yah. And their flesh shall be thine for food, as the breast of the elevation and as the right shoulder, it shall be thine. Everything set apart of the sacred things which the sons of Israel consecrate to Yah have I given to thee, to thy sons and thy daughters with thee, by a perpetual statute, not to be abolished, as the salt which seasoneth the flesh of the oblation, because it is an everlasting statute before Yah. So shall it be for thee and for thy children. And Yah said to Aaron, thou wilt not receive a possession in their land, as the rest of the tribes, nor wilt thou have a portion among them. I am thy portion and thy inheritance in the midst of the children of Israel. So, when you read this doesn't mean they don't have land.
Yes.
Okay? The Levites aren't floating in the middle of the sky. There's land portions allotted to Levites, cities, spaces, places, okay, for them to live, but they don't have a country, right? So there's 12 countries, right? If you take the land, you would divide it into basically 12 states.
Wow.
Right? From the Mediterranean and the Red Sea all the way to the Persian Gulf over by Oman. Okay? All the way up to the Tigris and the Euphrates. All right? And then there's the same border that the children of Israel walked to get to Oman. Okay? So you have to understand this is what the borders were. Okay? So when you're looking and there's 12 states, 12 countries, just within that border area, the tribe of Levi does not have a state. They live in a scatter site. And even within the borders of the 12 countries, you still have the Ishmaelite and their land scattered throughout wherever. Okay?
Yes.
So you cannot come with the idea of the bordering like it is today. This is new. Let's say the last few hundred years, this new. All these fences and borders and fighting and conflict. It wasn't like this. Okay? It wasn't like this new. All right? This wasn't the system. This is the new Babylonian system they've implemented. All these wars on borders, and it's not the way. So everybody is given a general region, and they have borders, and you can travel with them on the border freely. You know, it wasn't a hard line with a fence.
Right.
Okay? And the borders are not straight. They have landmarks. And you respect, no, this is so-and-so's land. They have this You know, even if you can have an island of land inside of somebody else's land. You will find that in Jerusalem. You say, what are you talking about, Rabbi Sheikh? Well, why do you think there's all of these sites in and around Jerusalem like that? Jerusalem was a very large region. It's not a small town, you know, not like what you see today with these Jewish people, what they're fighting over. Everybody have a place. Ishmael have a place. Isaac have a place. Everybody have a place in this area. This area is sacred. There is many sites here that's important to the faith. The faith, what we're talking about, is to the history, to the honoring of the forefathers. So Esau has to have a way to come and he can do honor to Abraham and make his prayer to Allah. He have his place. Ishmael have to have his place. And you can travel freely. We know the border. This my area, this your area, this what it is.
Right.
Even now in Saudi, they may not admit it, but they have it. It's in the library in Mecca. They know what the ancient border was with the Israelite. Saudi wasn't always all the way up to the Tigris and the Euphrates, to the border of Iraq and Iran. No, it wasn't like this. When the Israelite was here, they have the majority of the area because Esau sell his land portion. Right? When he sold the birthright, he sold only half. Birthright you get a double portion. So he sell one. He get to keep his land, his rulership over his people, but the double portion he was supposed to receive, he don't get it. So Jacob gets the double portion. Now he have all this land, but it's a desert. Well, it's turning green now.
Yeah.
Right? You know, when you see the desert turning green, that Bani Israel is returning. We're not to make conflict.
Right.
We're here to rejoin the family for a blessing.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah, we have to get out of our mindset thinking that it's just going to be us.
It says when Bani Israel returns, all of the brethren will rejoice. Why? We're not here to make conflict. We have the same problem. This Western system.
Yeah.
Nobody like it. We tired. We sitting over there 400 years. Okay, this is our punishment from God. We done. We leave now. We build with our brother. We happy to be Muslims and keep our Torah as the Quran and Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, has said.
Yes.
Everybody that comes says, turn back to the law of Moses. I don't care if you read the Bible. I don't care if you read the Quran. Every last one of the holy books tell the children of Israel, hey, this not you stop. You have to go back to Prophet Moses. All right? So, here we are.
Verse 21.
That's where I am. And behold, I have given to the sons of Levi all the tenths of Israel for possession on account of their service with which they serve in the work of the tabernacle of ordinance. So they will have what will equal to a whole portion, right? So if the land is divided into 12ths,
Yes.
and everybody has to give 10%, right?
Yes, sir.
The whole giving 10%, right? There's 12 giving 10% to one. So you have a 12-to-1 ratio. Now they receive a whole portion.
Right.
You see?
Yes, sir.
So while they're not, because of the way their portion is designed, you know, it's not like they have a whole country and nation to govern. They are strictly committed to the administration to the people
Right. And the service.
and the service. Okay? They are strictly committed to the administration of the people. They are not heavily involved in, agricultural work, finances, this, that, and the third. They grow some food, they grow their own food, they have their own stuff, but they're really maintaining the service.
But when you think back remember when they set up the standard and how each side, but within you had a
Tribal
family, Levites inside of it. Yeah.
Okay? But and where they camp is not specific where they serve. They can serve
Right.
within any tribe.
Right.
So once the camp is set up, then they can move into the other tribes wherever they would like to be. And they can move anywhere on the land. They're just looking for the sign of where's the place the Most High want them to be, and they can be there. And it's a blessing. There is a special blessing in having the Levite, one of these administrative servants, with you. Okay? And the sons of Israel shall no more come near the tabernacle to incur the sin unto death. So the children of Israel do not, I said this way back.
Yeah.
You don't come near the tabernacle. The closest you can come is 2 miles. Why we cannot come near the tabernacle? No, it's not looky-loo. This not for you. Okay? When we build the temple, there is time for coming to look on certain holidays for certain reasons. Other than that, we have places to pray. And you got work to do. Okay? So the children don't come up to the tabernacle, they go to the Levites. The Levite is the extending arm of the tabernacle. But the Levites shall minister in the work of the tabernacle and shall bear their sin if they be not diligent in their work. It is an everlasting statute for your generations. But among the sons of Israel, they shall have no possession. So they don't get a land portion. They do get land.
Yes. And they have to be very diligent in their work because it just doesn't affect them. It affects them, those that are around them.
Right. That's it. The Levites are responsible of keeping the wrath of the Most High at bay. That's what they mean by they're bearing the sin. They're bearing the guilt. Okay? They are the ones responsible for educating the people and policing the people to continue in the right way, to continue in the law, to continue in the path. If the people don't take what the Levites have to say, then there's going to be problems, consequences, repercussions. It's going to be an issue. And the Levites work hand in hand with all of the tribal leaders. So you have, within every tribe, you have the firstborn and the Levites, but they're working together. This one have governance. He's in charge over the people. This one have counsel. He's also there to help and police the people. When the people do make a mistake, the one with counsel have to give atonement. There's no prevention here. So we're not talking about preventing you from doing wrong. You're going to do wrong, you're going to receive the punishment of such. Period. It costs a lot, 7 times as much. You say, Rabbi Shay, that's not law, that's not scripture. I'm telling you right now, you can go read it for yourself in Proverbs chapter 6. It ends up costing you 7 times as much. If you think I'm lying, go look it up. Okay? Therefore, the tenths of the children of Israel, notice tenths is plural.
Yes, sir.
So there's multiple tenths. So the Levites is responsible for taking care of widows. They're responsible for taking care of orphans. There is a separate tenth for that. And when we talk about tenth, we only talking about actual food portions. So we're not talking about renting. Okay?
Yes.
This renting concept, it does not work for the sons of Israel. It's not a good concept. It impoverishes the people. So the people collectively come, the people collectively buy a portion, the people work, and their contribution goes to the building and the expanding of the community and its maintenance. But it does not come like a rental, right? You say, why not? We gotta make money. No, you collectively work in businesses, and the businesses to build the collective, because you constantly have to absorb your brethren, redeem your brethren. You constantly have to absorb and redeem the land. You constantly have to absorb and redeem strangers. Now, when strangers come, if they just passing through, yeah, man, we're going to be making a profit. Oh, you ain't a proselyte, this business. You know what I'm saying? There's a business here. Okay? Business is business. We make a profit like that, but we're not making a profit like too much profit off of each other. We're self-sustaining. So everybody is working for the self-sustainment of the community, like ants. Proverbs chapter 6. We working like an ant colony.
Yes.
Okay? Outsiders, we doing business. Insiders, we are a collective.
Yes.
Therefore, the tenth of the children of Israel, which they separate for a separation before Yah, meaning in front of his eyes, that he may see, have I given to the Levites for a possession, because I have said to them that among the sons of Israel they shall possess no inheritance. And Yah spake with Moses, saying, speak to the Levites, and bid them take from the sons of Israel the tenth, which I have given them for their possession. And then you shall separate from it a separation before Yah, a tenth from the tenth. And your separation shall be reckoned to you as the corn from the threshing floor, and as the wine from the fullness of the winepress. So shall you set apart your separation from before Yah from all your tents, which you may receive from the sons of Israel, and give thereof a separation before Yah unto Aaron the priest. So the high priesthood, the Levites receive the whole of the tenth of the congregation, and a tenth of the tenth is given directly to the high priest. 1/10 of the tenth. So of the tenth that goes to the Levites, so there's 1/10 that goes to the Levites. There is 1/10 that goes to widows and orphans. And there is 1/10 that remain in the field for gleaning. All right? Remember that corner you left? It says leave a corner, not the corners. A, one. That's where the tenth is sitting. There's a tenth left in the field for gleaning. All right? So there's a tenth left in the field. There's a tenth given to the Levites, and there's a tenth given to the Levites for the widows and the orphans. All right? 1/10 of the tenth that the Levites receive for themselves, they have to give it to the high priest. All right, we'll be right back after this. Go. So it's given to the high priest, and of all your gifts, you shall set apart a separation before Yah of all the finest and the best there is. Okay? Now, it's just the best of what you got. You don't got to go around scouring. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm looking for the best lamb. The sheep you got is the sheep you got, man. You see what I'm saying? Of the best of what you have,
Right.
the healthy, good sheep, give that. That's good.
Right. I'm glad you cleared this up because when I read this before, when it says in your separate, I thought he was telling Moses that he has a separation for himself. Am I right?
No.
Okay. Because when he said and your,
No, he's talking to the Levites here. It's the context.
Okay,
He's talking to the Levites. He's telling your separation from the 10th, you have to give a 10th to the high priesthood.
Okay.
Period.
All right, got you.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
So the high priesthood receive a 10th of the 10th. Why? Because the high priesthood is doing the service and the perpetual offerings for the whole nations and the perpetual sacrifice on a regular, everyday basis.
Okay.
So he needs a lot of material. The king and the high priest live together. Moses and Aaron are camped together.
Oh, I did not know that.
You did, because we sat here when we discussed.
When they had the division
king and the high priest are camped together.
Right. Yes, sir. Yes.
The king and the high priest are camped together. So of the 10th, which the Levites bring, that 10th goes to the high priest. From what they collect from the people, 1/10 goes all the way up to the high priest. The high priest is encamped with the king. They are together.
Right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Where was I?
You just finished verse 29.
Right, and the best therein. And say thou to the priest, when you have set apart a separation before Yah, all the finest and the best there is, and say thou to the priest, when you have set apart the finest and the best of it, and in it, then shall it be reckoned to the Levites as the setting apart of the corn from the threshing floor and from the winepress, and you may eat it. The priest in any place, you and the men of your house, for it is your remuneration, your payment for your service in the tabernacle of ordinance. So the priests don't have to worry about food. Period. They're not worried about food. The only thing they're worried about is their civil duties. They are civil servants. They're working in police and inspection and in atoning. They are working in the administration alongside the priests, the chosen sons, and the firstborn sons, and leading the people depending on which level everybody is at. Okay?
Yes, sir.
And you shall not contract guilt by it. At what time you set apart the finest and best of it by anyone eating of it who is unclean, neither shall you profane the consecrated things of the children of Israel, lest you die.
Ooh.
So you don't contract guilt by it when you are setting it apart and by eating of it when anyone is unclean. So you don't want to, as priest, you always separating clean and unclean. So you don't want to contract any guilt with any by giving someone of your food when they are unclean.
Wow.
Okay? And you also don't want to profane the consecrated things, so you don't use temple things for your own personal use. It's for use in the temple. There's a separation. Okay? With the children of Israel, lest you die. Okay? And Yah spake with Moses and Aaron. Now, see here
both
again.
of them
Moses
together and Aaron.
This is the decree, the publication of the law which Yah has commanded.
Wow, publication.
So we're talking about publishing now. The publication of the law which Yah hath commanded, speak to the sons of Israel, that they bring to thee from the separation of the fold a red heifer 2 years old, in which there is neither spot nor white hair, on which no male hath come, nor the burden of any work been imposed, neither hurt by a thong, nor grieved by a goad, or prick, nor collar, nor band, or any like yoke. Okay? So first things first. If somebody gives birth to a cow that is all red, okay, and it don't have any red spots, any white spots, it's just all red in general. Okay? What you're gonna do is you're gonna set this cow aside and raise it for 2 years. Nothing. This cow just eat and graze, and it's kind of sheltered. Okay, you're not hitting it. You're not putting any. You're not hitting it. You're not putting any burden of work on it. This cow is being raised for a specific purpose, and that's any. See,
Right.
Anybody from the sons of Israel, doesn't matter. Okay, so this is the red heifer. You set this aside. If it's born and you see it's all red, set that aside. You know this what the Most High want this one.
Right.
This is a special because you don't want it to mate. It cannot be mated. To set this aside. Okay.
Now with the red heifer, the red heifer is not no great phenomenon. They've always been, right?
Yeah, they're all over the place. Okay, it's not difficult. Okay, you just wanted to set it aside.
Right.
It can't have no white spots. Okay. Now that doesn't mean like if you see like a spot is a spot. Let's just a spot is a spot. Okay. If it don't have no white spots, that's it.
Yes.
Okay. It's not. Okay.
Right.
There's no white spots. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just
I'm not discussing these other folks and what the hell they're doing because I got the instructions that here.
Yeah.
No white spots, okay? No, not like half a leg white or a little patch of white. No white spots, okay? That's it. If it's all red, it's all red. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I was in Brooklyn, we had the red nose pits.
Yeah.
Right? You get them and they be red. All right? It's red like that. Just no white spots. It's all red. Red. That's it. But you want to set it aside. This one is to be protected for 2 years. Okay?
2 years. Okay.
And thou shalt give her unto Eleazar, the chief of the priests. So now you see now that Aaron is the high priest. Right?
Yes, sir.
He's the high priest. He's the king over the priests. And Eleazar is their chief. Right?
Yes, sir.
So now he's talking to Moses and Aaron, and this is how we conducting things. So you have your prime minister and your foreign minister.
Minister.
Okay? Something like this. So now he's going to give it to Eleazar, the chief of the priests, who shall lead her alone. So now Eleazar is going to take this cow alone without the camp and set her about and set round about her a railing border of branches and fig trees. Okay? And another priest shall slay her with the two signs before him, after the manner of the other animals, and examine her by the 18 kinds of divisions. Now, we've already spelled that out in the book of Leviticus when you're looking at the divisions and the animals and what you're going to do. Okay? So while Eleazar is taking this animal out, the other priest is making this area. Not Eleazar doing this by himself. Okay? So they making the area and they're getting ready to put this cow in this pen. And Eleazar, in his priestly dress, so Eleazar is going to put on his garment, shall take of her blood with the finger of his right hand, without first containing it in a vessel. So you're going to take of the blood as it come out fresh. Right? And shall sprinkle the border of the fig branches. So we know what kind of tree this is.
Yes.
They're going to make this with fig wood.
Yes.
Right? And afterwards, from the midst of a vessel on one side, towards the tabernacle of ordinance, with one dipping 7 times, shall he sprinkle. So he dipped 1 time and he sprinkled 7.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Why he have on priestly garments? There's no need for this bloody mess. Okay? He don't want no blood on himself.
Right. It's not no big, huge
Not
slaughter
big.
like they
dipped
try to
1 time
portray it.
and he sprinkled 7 times. You're not you don't want all this blood everywhere. And they shall bring her out from the midst of the railing of the burning of the railing, and another priest, while Eleazar looketh on, shall burn the heifer, her skin, flesh, and blood, with her dung shall he burn. And another priest shall take a piece of cedar wood and hyssop and wool, which color has been changed to scarlet, and throw them in the midst of the burning of the heifer, and he shall enlarge the burning, and that the ashes may be increased. You got it? So
Yes.
we put it in the lamb's wool, and they putting in cedar wood.
And
It's a pine tree, if you want to know what cedar wood is. You put it in pine, and this is right in there with the fig and the pine, and we burning this cow with the dung, and it's all chopped up, and putting it all in there. We burning the heck out of this.
And hyssop.
And hyssop. We ain't cheap with it either. We ain't gonna be sprinkling. Just take the plant
And just throw it in there.
It's a lot.
Right.
Increasing the ashes. There's no time to be cheap.
Right.
And the priest who slew the heifer shall wash his dress in 40 satires or sayars of water. And afterwards he may go into the camp. But the priest before his ablution shall be unclean until the evening. So you touch this blood or you killed this animal, you're unclean till evening. But you have to go back to the camp. You can go back to the camp. You go inside, you take a shower, you clean yourself. That's it. You good. And the priest who was employed in the burning shall wash his dress in 40 seahs of water. So he have to bathe himself and his clothes, both of them, in 40 seahs of water, and before his ablution he shall be unclean until evening. Okay? But
Yes.
once he bathe, he's good. He's clean. So when he's coming back, move. Excuse me, unclean. Move. Because he's coming back, and you're not supposed to be touching him no way. You're not supposed to be approaching him. He's in his service. Make way. Just like you do for the police. It's the same thing. They work him. And a man, a priest. So it says a man, but this man is a priest. Who is clean shall gather up the ashes of the heifer in an earthenware receptacle. So they're going to put it in a clay pot.
Right.
Its opening covered round about with clay, and shall divide the ashes into 3 portions. Okay? Of which one shall be placed in the wall of Jerusalem. So the wall of Jerusalem will have to be rebuilt, and one of these jars have to be placed in the wall. Another in the Mount of Olives. So one, you have to bury it in the Mount of Olives. And the third portion be in the custody of the Levites, and it shall be for the congregation of Israel, for the water of sprinkling. It is the heifer immolated, or the heifer sacrificed for the remission of sin. This, you come in with this sprinkle, with that. You sprinkle it with hyssop too, just a little tip. Done. You don't like it? I don't care. Nobody asked you. And the priest who gathered up the ashes of the heifer water shall wash his clothes, and before his ablution shall be unclean till evening. Same as the other. And this shall be for the cleansing of the children of Israel, a statute forever. So it doesn't matter when we come back and we do the heifer water, we have to do the same thing. Okay? You're gonna need a lot of water though, because we're not gonna. It's not like these ashes. You don't need a lot to turn the water into heifer water.
Right.
Okay. Whoever touches the body of a dead man or of a child of some months old, either his body or his blood shall be unclean 7 days. You mad, right? So this is why we separate the mom and the newborn for some months. Because you touch them, you're going to be unclean 7 days. This is also a protection for the child. Everybody want to come and touch the baby hands, and you're getting the baby sick.
Okay, wait a minute. So when it says, or of a child of some months old, that means while the child's alive.
The baby is born.
Yeah.
It's a child of some months. It don't get some months dead.
No, when you know whatsoever touches the body of a dead man or a child.
A newborn
wow.
is a child that's a few months old. Of the first few months, it'll give you a number. I think it's almost like a year and some change. It'll give us a number. I'll find it. It'll come up again. But that child, the first few months, it gives you like a few months, like I think like maybe 5 or 6 or whatever. And that child is protected. You touch the child, you unclean. Child clean. You unclean.
For 7
For
days.
7 days. It's the protection of the child.
Wow.
Don't come over here touching people, babies. You'll be unclean 7 days as if you had your own cycle.
Wow.
New baby, 7 days. Don't touch the baby. Give this baby time because it has to acclimate to the world. You have to understand this. This is a law. A child of some months. Okay? It'll give us the number. You'll say, well, how many months? I think it's like 4 or 5 months. I think it's like 4 or 5 months, to be honest with you. I'm gonna find it and we'll get back around to it.
Verse 12, we're at now.
He shall sprinkle himself with this water of the ashes. So if you have come near a dead man or have touched a child of some months, you have to get sprinkled with this heifer water, right? On the 3rd day, and on the 7th day he shall be clean. But if he sprinkle not himself on the 3rd day, his uncleanness will remain upon him, and he will not be clean on the 7th day.
Wow.
You don't like it? I don't care.
Wow.
We're protecting the babies now. We're protecting our babies now. The mother, the child, we're protecting them. They're under a law of protection. They have some months to adjust. They have some months. You can help them. You can assist them. Okay? This is why the handmaid's so important. You see?
Yeah.
Because the uncleanness of the handmaid who's helping the mother with the child, the uncleanness of the handmaid is not contagious. She's free to go in and out. She knows she unclean till evening or the 7th day. It doesn't matter. She don't have a husband. She's just working here like this. This is her duty, her job. So now the mother has support, the baby have support, and there's a protection so that we can make sure this child is being given health and strength. After 3-4 months, the baby start moving. You know, they start to
get around scooting.
They start scooching and crawling and rolling. The baby start moving. That's it. But you need the heifer water for the cleansing if you have to go in there or you whatever. Okay?
You know, we've all have been guilty of this, of touching the newborn and not giving those days and times. You know, I mean, but we declare, oh, we keeping the law because we doing the Sabbath. And no, it's these small little things you need to be concerning and realize how serious the state that we are as a people. Because it's these little things.
I told people, listen, they be like, Rabbi Sheikh, what you pay attention to? I pay attention to the smallest laws, the one that I can keep, that doesn't have anything to do with substance or wealth or anything. There's these small laws, the small ones. Don't touch this newborn baby. Give them some months and let them grow and go visit them, after. When the baby start crawling, getting around, it's like this. Right? Let me tell y'all a story. So while I was in Israel, my my teacher, his wife, she has a baby. And I'll come back after this and I'll tell the story.
Chase battery. My.
All right. So my teacher had a baby, right? And because we all lived together, the whole family, we like sealed ourselves off for some time,
Wow.
right? No guests, don't bring no strangers up here because this one, she have a baby, okay? We supporting the mother, the child, everybody, but that's it. There's a no, you cannot come for some time. And then even when the child is newborn, after the child born and the mother get clean after her days of uncleanness, we have to have the brit, where we do the circumcision. We making a lamb for a boy. We have to do all of these other things. And we all separating ourselves for this time. But this is just a family.
Wow.
It's just a family. Not everybody come. This is just a family because of this baby. And we have to take the ashes and we put the ashes on everybody.
Wow.
All right. Now, you saying he make of the bachor and we put the ashes on people. And you saying to me, I don't know the customs and traditions. I already lived them. Right? I already have seen it. Right? So when I'm telling you it's a separation, it's a separation. And now we're going to see how long, because I told you it'll get to it. So you have to sprinkle yourself on the third day to be clean on the seventh day. But if he sprinkle himself not on the third day, his uncleanness remains on him, and he will not be clean on the seventh day. So if you don't get sprinkled with the heifer water on the third day, you now stuck. Right? So you have to think about this now, right? When I say stuck, you now stuck in the state of uncleanness until you get sprinkled. So the children of Israel, this heifer water, you have to get a sprinkling. This is a new baby. You need a sprinkling so you can go to work. But this is also why we set moms apart and fathers apart with this child. This child is new. Okay? So whoever has touched the body of a dead man or of a child of 9 months old, either the body or the blood, had not sprinkled himself, he hath defiled the tabernacle of Yah. So now, let's talk about this.
Yes, sir.
So now you have the child has to be 9 months before it's free. I told you when it starts to crawling and moving, it's a free now. 9 months, that's it. 9 months old. Okay? If you do touch it, you know on the third day you're taking the sprinkle. Okay? You just go to the priest and you get the sprinkle. All right?
Right. So the priest has to be the one to sprinkle you. You can't be trying to sprinkle yourself.
You can't sprinkle yourself. That's what the priest is there for. This is his service.
That's right.
I don't care if he has to sprinkle you this day or the third day, and then next week he's sprinkling you again. I don't care. This is his job.
Right.
Okay? So you cannot touch of a child of 9 months old, either the body, the hands, the body, or the blood. 9 months, that's it. And will not sprinkle himself, he has defiled the tabernacle. So now when does this person come to defile the tabernacle? Because the Shabbat's coming in.
Yes, yeah.
Then you want to come and you want to pray and make sacrifice or do whatever and be a part of the Shabbat, you know what I'm saying? Now you defiling the tabernacle. This the problem. Okay?
Yes, sir.
This the problem. As the problem comes, cleanness is a matter of when you want to come before the Most High. This the problem. So when the Most High says you want clean, it doesn't mean you cannot function in the community. You can function all day in the community. This is you for you work and you life and, you know. But don't come and bring this to the service of the Most High. Okay? So when is this a major point to make sure you watch for? If you know you want to come to the tabernacle or you have to come because it's the festival time, then you want to stay away from these things. You want to keep yourself clean.
Yes.
Say, so you're looking out for the feast days, the high holy days, right? And you're looking out for the like festivals that you want to participate in. So maybe you want to come for a new moon festival or some other solemnity or event. Or if you want to come up for Shabbat, you want to come up to pray and you know.
Yes.
Because you can only do two things on Shabbat. You can come up to pray, or you can stay home and lay down. That's it. There's no class on Shabbat. There's no class. The only people moving, like working, is the priesthood because this is their dedicated service. That man shall be cut off if you approach the tabernacle, defile the tabernacle. For as much as the water of sprinkling is not sprinkled upon him, he is unclean. His uncleanness is yet on him until he sprinkle himself. Yet may he sprinkle himself and make ablution on the seventh evening. See? So even if you miss the third day, you have to until the evening of the seventh to make your ablution. You got to get sprinkled at some time within this 7-day period. This is the indication of the law concerning a man when he has died under the outspread tent. Everyone who entereth into the tent by the way of the door, but not from its side, when its door is open, or when one has opened its door, and whatever is in the tent, its floor, stone, wood, and vessels shall be unclean 7 days. And every earthen vessel which hath no covering fastened upon its mouth, which would have kept it separate from the uncleanness, is defiled by the uncleanness of the air, which toucheth its mouth and its interior, and not the outside of it only. Okay? So, if someone dies in your space, you know, people fall, they die in the house or whatever. So, the whole house is unclean now. The house and everyone in it for 7 days. So on the third day, they got to get it sprinkled with the heifer water.
Yes.
Right? Everything. All right? Now, you want to get rid of anything that was open. Because the air inside, you know, it's moving.
Right.
But it's contaminating stuff.
Yes.
So if you have any earthenware jars, you know what I'm saying? You have to know that the contents inside are now contaminated. You're going to have to get rid of it. So the easy solution is to keep your earthenware covered. Okay? That's the regular solution. But if it is open, you just know it's contaminated.
Yes.
Okay? Whoever shall touch not one who hath died in his mother's womb, but who has been slain with the sword on the face of the field, or the sword with which he was slain, or the dead man himself, or a bone of his, or the hair, or the bone of a living man which hath been separated from him, or a grave, or a shroud, or the buyer, shall be unclean 7 days. Okay? Okay?
Yes, sir.
So if this is a person who has passed, right? Not the miscarriage. Okay? The miscarriage is solely upon the woman, and this is different. All right? Those people still unclean by the touching of blood. They unclean 7 days, but we're talking about now, we're not talking about just this situation. Now we're talking
Yes.
about anybody who's from war, okay? Anybody who was killed, anybody who kills somebody in a battle. If you touch the dead man himself, his bone, okay, any part of the dead man's body, his hair, or the bone of a living man, which has been separated from. So his hand got cut off. He's still alive, but you got to carry the hand or the arm or whatever, right? Which has been separated from him, or you touch a grave or a shroud or the abaya. Okay, you shall be unclean 7 days. And for him who is unclean, they shall take of the ashes of the burnt sin offering, the heifer water, put spring water upon them in an earthen vessel, and let a priest, a man who is clean, take 3 branches of hyssop bound together, dip them in the water at the time of receiving the uncleanness, and sprinkle the tent and all its vessels and the men who are in it, or upon him who have touched the bone of a living man that has been severed from him and hath fallen, or him that hath been slain with the sword, or hath died by the plague, or a grave, or a rapper, or the abi, or abaya. And the priest who is clean shall sprinkle upon the unclean man on the 3rd day and on the 7th day, and shall make him clean on the 7th day. And he shall sprinkle his clothes and wash himself with water, and at evening time be clean. Okay? So the priest is busy, because the 3rd day for me might be the 2nd day for you.
Yeah.
So now you got to come back tomorrow
And get clean.
and guess what?
Get clean.
So we have a tent just for sprinkling, and this is the tent. Why? Where the priest is. Not in his camp, in the
Right.
camp of your tribe. He's there. There's a place for him. He's there. He has heifer water. He has 3 branches of hyssop, and he's just sitting there. And you come here and
Do you know how many graves we have went to?
No, you-
and all this stuff.
just think, even you want to go to the graves to visit.
your
You know you're going to be unclean 7 days. You
Days.
have to.
get sprinkled.
Yeah, you want to go see Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They buried right here in Jordan. Dip, sprinkle. You want to go see Yusha? You know, you want to clean 7 days. On the 3rd day, dip. You have to sprinkle.
And you're worrying about when the Sabbath, keeping the Sabbath. We ain't even keeping these little details.
Yeah. Here's the thing. If you went to somebody's funeral and they rolled the casket in there,
Don't get started.
the whole place
Place get
unclean.
clean. Oh my goodness.
The whole building, the whole space. You done wheeled this dead man in here. The whole place is unclean. Everybody in there is unclean for 7 days. I'm just telling you, this is what it is. Okay?
And the only way to be made clean is you got to be sprinkled with the heifer water.
Sprinkle. Okay? And it shall be unto you for an everlasting statute. The priest also who sprinkleth the water of sprinkling shall sprinkle his own clothes. And he who touches the water of sprinkling shall be unclean until evening. Just till evening.
Right.
And whatever the unclean person hath touched, though he carry it not, shall be unclean. And the clean man who toucheth him shall be unclean till evening. This is why we come home and you gotta bathe. You're just washing off the uncleanness of the day. You don't know where these people been and what they've been touching. There you go. So that's it for chapter 19. And we're gonna move on.
Oh my goodness. Ain't no man blood make you clean. And all of this, what we just read, is the publication of the law, correct?
This is all.
All of 19 is the publication of the law.
This is all part of it.
And you know, that's why it's so important that, you know, our listeners understand we cannot do this over in captivity. We have to establish our own community, our own sanctuary, our own place, so that we can observe and keep these laws and statutes the right way. There's just no other way. We have to do it this way.
All right. So now I want to make sure you guys understand. So the stories of Korach and the spies is happening in the first 2 years. After those people dies and those judgments come out, they begin to wander in the wilderness for some time. Okay? So they're circling around and they're just moving. Now it's peaceful because the people have been put in order, they have been subdued, and this is the order of separation. So they're wandering for some time. Okay? Why? They have 40 years of wandering. It's not much of it. It's not much of to talk about.
Wow, right. It's been decreed.
The decree is finished. Most of the people have been of the ones that came out of Egypt have died, and the rest of them dying slowly while we are wandering in the wilderness of sin. Okay, so we're going to start now in 20, and it's going to pick up with the first major happening. Okay? So this is not at the beginning time no more. The first 2 years is done. The thing with Joshua and the first spies is the first 2 years. Korach, everything you have read and heard up to now is the first 2 years. Now, years are going to go by. Because the sentence has been pronounced. They're going to spend 40 years. That's it. Years now are getting ready to go by before we pick up the next part.
Wow.
This, so you didn't know. Say you didn't know. Years are going to go by. Okay? And so now we're going to pick up in chapter 20, and you're going to see this is a time skip. There is a time skip here.
Right.
To the next major happenings after those people had died. All right. One step at a time, one day at a time. One step, one step.
One.